and then I'm doing. It makes it a bit hard to see.
Yeah, figure it's. Is that the AMT kit, or who does that one?
No, this is Horizon.
Right.
Horizon.
I've seen it before. Yeah, but
this is just a $10 kit I got out of one of the recasters at China, and it's not that fantastic. It's not that well detailed because it's a recast.
It looks fine.
But I thought, well, I'll just get it, and it's just going to be for me.
Yeah.
So it's not really like a client build or anything like that. Yeah. So I just wanted to do it because I was missing doing figures. So I'm doing so many starships that I just wanted to do a figure for myself.
Yeah. That's
and I got it. So yeah, he's 3/4 of the way there now. I'm just doing his pumpkin and leather and stuff like that. So he's the figure's nearly done.
Mm-hmm.
I've still got his bag to do. I want to do that off the. He's got a little, his goblin bag where he keeps all of his bombs and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll be doing that, finishing that off, and then he'll basically be finished. And then I'm going to go on to straight away. I've got. You probably won't be able to see it, but I've got the Horizon Spider-Man.
Oh, the same idea, yeah.
Yeah, it's the same scale and whatnot else. It's the same. I think they're like a pair or something like that. So, I got that one.
You got those on eBay?
No, I got them out of China. This company called what's it called? Home Media for You. It sounds really cheesy, doesn't it? But they're one of the best recasters out there.
Yeah.
Not that I should be saying that live,
but well, I know. So is that Home Media 4? No, the number 4 or FOR?
Number 4 and just the U.
I must have a look because I know there seems to be someone doing an awful lot of these now, and via China, and there's no issue here in the UK with China stuff. It just gets to customs with no problem at all. But if I order from Hobbylink Japan or from the States, I get taxed every time. It's strange.
I don't know. That's crazy. And when I hear what you guys have to pay for your movies and stuff, it's just that's crazy.
Well,
a lot of
perhaps it's an inbuilt. It's a good thing we probably would spend more of. I got the Bandai X-Wing from Hobbylink Japan, and again, it's just under the price for duty.
So which one did you get? The 48 or the 7?
The 172nd. I've actually I've another friend who's a priest. Terrible, all these priests. Who's in Hong Kong at the minute? Who's going to try and see if he can get the 148th one and bring it home, just to try and avoid the duty. But it works out about £48 to here, plus delivery. So it's expensive enough, but.
Well, if you can, we get the moving edition.
Oh, that's the one. That's the one be after, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm primarily a Star Trek fan, but I like some of the Star Wars models certainly, and I build them if I can get hold of them. But I mean, I have 2 of the Revell Easy Kit Millennium Falcons, 3 of the Hasbro ones, which I bought as an investment. I know Heath Tompkins was on about it, and Heath finally got a hold of one. He's very happy, I see. But I got those just as a sort of a future-proof investment because I know the price will go up. There's no question. And then that X-Wing that's sitting there, that's the Revell Easy Kit one as well, which again builds fantastically if you're prepared to put a bit of extra effort into it and change a few things. But I've lit the cockpit, and you can see the lasers are lit in it there. But I think I've got another one, and I would do it slightly differently the next time. It's just every time you build, you learn something and improve on what you did the last time. I mean, at the minute, I'm just messing about with this, which is an antique. It's an antique in every sense of the word. There we go. Everything fall in. It's an ancient Matchbox kit, but it's also an ancient aircraft. I'd never heard of it before. but I got it for nothing. And I'm just doing a bit of
What is
experimenting.
it called?
Handley Page Hayford, which was probably the last biplane bomber that the RAF had, 1930.
Wow.
It is a bit of a. You can see. I don't know if you can see where the gunners here were outside, the pilots were outside, and then this thing, you can just see this this thing here underneath was it's like a pillbox that lies below the airplane. So the guy in this actually stands upright, so his feet are down on the bottom of the pillbox. So he stands with a machine gun, basically pointing out. It's a real sort of. It must have been awful to fly in, and you don't really see it in this, but you can build it with almost the whole of the bottom wing is covered in bombs. So it did the job. But it was just 1930. You have to allow for the age of the thing. But I got it for nothing, and someone had built it. So I've been taking it apart, to redo it again, try and make it look a bit decent. But whoever put it together used I think he used half a tube of cement just to glue together the two halves. So there's an awful lot of stuff to remove on it, and the windows are all fogged and this type of thing. But there aren't that many windows in it. But just something different to do for an hour or so. And then I'm going to go back to my Corvette eventually. But the reason I'm doing this, I'm waiting for the glue to dry on the German, and I have a little bit of touch up to do on it. But the figure is. The weird thing about that figure is most figures don't have a lot of parts. The Master and Commander only has 4 parts, whereas this guy I think had 26, 27, because there's all the different parts of the tripod and the rifle, and it thankfully it all arrived in one piece, bar the muzzle of the rifle had broken in transit, but that was the only problem I had with it. But very nice to work with. Resin. You have to be careful, I know, with wear a mask and so on, but very easy to sort out issues with the tools. But I don't like using super glue, and with that you've no option but to use super glue. I just don't like it. But the CA glue. But then I've got the blaster basically. So as soon as I glue it, give it a zap, and it sets. But if you, I've knocked it over a couple of times, and if you knock it over, it just seems to knock the parts off. That's the thing. I suppose that's a better thing than snapping them off. But no, very happy with it.
I'm a bit of a fan of vinyl myself, because I mean this is vinyl. I do a fair amount of vinyl, and I find it very easy to work with.
Yeah,
it's non-toxic.
Yeah. Do you heat it first before you do any cutting to it, or you just cut it straight?
No, I heat it first.
Yeah, I've read that about the Hasbro kit, because it's vinyl, as you heat it up first with a hairdryer or something, and then it's very easy to.
I just find that all I do with this sucker is all I've done really with this sucker is just to heat it up, cut all the flash off of it, and if it's mismolded in any way, then all you need to do is sort of heat it up again, and you can fairly much get the parts to join just by heating it, because it goes so soft. Right. And then I'll put a couple of dabs of super glue on there just to secure the part, and then I'll go around the edge with 2-part epoxy, to really secure it.
Do you not get an issue then if you have to sand it because of the difference in hardness? No.
Sorry?
Do you not get a problem with sanding if the epoxy's got a different hardness to the vinyl? You have to sand
the epoxy generally I put on. I generally try and secure the parts from the inside,
right,
rather than the outside. So
okay,
I don't really sort of have that problem, but you can. But this is so vinyl, so malleable that you can just get it to join. I got a perfect join, even this $10 kit. I got a perfect join every time. So, and just as I say, just use the epoxy on the inside.
What about painting? Do you use an etch primer or something like that, or
you can't use acrylic on vinyl. You can't use acrylic primer on vinyl because it won't dry.
Yeah.
So it'll just come off. So you have to use an etch primer of some
Right.
description.
It's the one thing I've been trying to get a hold of one here. Whether it's not a UK thing. I think it's just where I happen to be geographically. None of the car supply places stock it, so I'll probably have to end up starting.
Almost exclusively now. I've gotten on a few products that I really do like, and one of those is the rattle can of Mr. Surfacer 1200.
Right, which again, I could probably get it here, and that works on the vinyl.
Yeah, that's an etch primer.
Right.
So it's got to be a lacquer-based one.
Yeah. But then, what do you then paint on top of that? Acrylic on top of that, or must you use a lacquer-based paint on top of it?
On top of it.
Oh, that's not so bad. I must look at that. Yeah. I know I've been trying this Vallejo primer, which is pretty good because I was using rattle cans and they're fine.
No, that stuff unless I actually cut that with acetone or lacquer, I find that it sits on top of the whether I use resin, plastic, vinyl, it'll actually sit on top. So it's okay if you just spray it, leave it for a couple of days, and you don't have to come back and sand it. But as soon as you come back and sand it, you get that hard edge on it. It doesn't feather out to a soft edge. It's a real problem. I really don't like it.
I've only tried it once, and I don't know it. Some people rave about it, and as you say, then some people have issues with it. So I haven't really had time to judge it properly yet. But I only just used it on a very small thing.
But the reason I couldn't use that on the vinyl.
Just wouldn't sit. Yeah.
No, it won't stick.
Yeah.
It's acrylic.
It's a strange material. That's the only problem with it. So.
Yeah, it's once you get used to it, it's all right. The only thing I would suggest, anybody who's making these vinyl kits, is to fill it with something. I use 2-part polyurethane foam, the expander foam, the stuff that they use in buoyancy vests and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's fairly cheap, and it goes a long way. You only need a small amount and whatnot else. And I fill the kits up with that, so it remains.
That means that they're no longer doing that.
They're no longer
Yeah.
Because after a while, the first couple of figures I did, they started to sag after a while. They do move and whatnot else. So
I've seen people say that about the Falcon. If you do a lot of changes to the Falcon, because of the vinyl as well, it seems to dips and weird things happening to it. So I've seen people use a similar idea with the 2-part expanding foam.
Yeah, it's great. But I use the expander foam. I'm sort of at a bit of a standstill with this. I've done all the windows and pretty much up to the stage where I'm ready to.
And nothing delivered yet.
And nothing delivered yet. No. So I'm at a real standstill with this. The only thing I found with this kit, though, one thing I have done is I've cut all of the locator tabs off of it, because it
doesn't sit properly.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
It pops out and does all sorts of weird and horrible things. So I just cut all the locator tabs off so I can actually get things to line. With the locator tabs off, you can actually get things to line up.
Is it meant to be? I'm just looking at mine.
So,
it's not meant to be a click kit. It's not meant to be a killer kit. No, it's not meant to be a snap kit, or is it?
It was meant to be a snap kit. Yeah. Originally, it was meant to be a snap kit.
Yeah, I see that now in the box. So
it's not.
Yeah,
it's not. It's so far from being a snap kit. It isn't funny.
Yeah. Strange to decide these things.
Yeah, it's funny, but I like it. I like the size of it, and with Jay's parts, whenever they arrive, it should.
Yeah, I must check with Neil Wooding.
No
Neil
reflection
ordered a set.
on Jay. I mean, he's sent the parts off. No reflection on Jay at all. He's he's done well. Sent the parts off. Obviously, it's just just postage. Down here, some things I'll get really quickly. A week or two from America or China, and I'm fine. Other things out of the blue.
Are you East Coast or West Coast?
I suppose East Coast. If you look at that, I'm right down the bottom. I'm on a little island called Tasmania.
Oh, you're in Tasmania. Sorry, I forgot about that. Which probably adds a little bit to the delay.
Yeah,
I forgot that you were in Tasmania.
Like petrol costs more. Everything costs more to go across the strait, which is Bass Strait, which is between Melbourne and Tasmania. We've got Bass Strait, and everything seems to cost more going across the strait. Funny.
We've a similar situation. Hello, hi Randall. We have a similar situation that we're in Northern Ireland, but again, everything gets delivered through the UK, so we pay extra postage, extra delivery, extra fuel charges, everything. Although we've one advantage, the border with the Republic of Ireland is only 3 miles away from me, so I can buy my fuel much cheaper than it is in Northern Ireland. So for my diesel fuel, much cheaper. Works out 92 pence a litre. So we make a big saving that way, but it's about the only advantage of being where we are. What's Randall up to?
Trying to clear space on my chair so I can sit down.
That's always handy, yes. Standing up modelling is not recommended. No.
I'm going to drink.
No.
Well, same here. So I just opened the can there. So
I'm just going to get another drink, so I'll be back in a minute.
How was your bank holiday?
My bank holiday?
Well, there's no one else here.
About as lazy as you can get it.
Oh no, that's I was hoping to get out here a lot earlier on today, but as usual, people to do, things to see, or is it the wrong way around? And I was down with my brother-in-law Robert, he flies radio-controlled aircraft. He just got it's his birthday today actually, but he got a BF 110, 2 laser engines, and the radio gear and everything else. Some guy had built it and it's been sitting in his loft for ages, and it's a 62-inch wingspan, so very nice.
Wow.
Nice. But he's always been under the radio control flying models. I was at one stage for a little while, for about 2 years I did, but I always too many crashes, too many disappointments, so I gave up on it.
Yeah, the crashes bit would annoy me.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I put any amount of effort into the model at all, and then the thing just goes boom.
We cause enough damage with having them just on the bench. So
yeah,
I've nearly finished your man.
It's not. Yeah.
Don't know. He's a lot more. He's got his machine gun tripod on his back now, which is the idea, and the straps are on the. Don't know if you see the straps on the rifle there. The support straps. So he's almost done. But I was saying to Keith, I'm trying to get a hold of a brass bullet casing. Look much better than just on the resin, but they're not easy to come across anywhere around here that I've noticed. So there used to be a place in town that sold sort of all sorts of weird and wonderful things, but unfortunately they're closed now. So I'll have to try and get one up in Belfast, I think.
Yeah, they're kind of few and far between up around our part of the world.
Well, I suppose for the right reasons. I'm fiddling with this. And take an aircraft I never knew before. I never even knew it existed.
HP 400.
Yeah.
Isn't it? No, sorry.
A Handley-Page Hayford.
Hayford.
1930, apparently. No, someone gave it to me for nothing. And here, someone had started to build it. They built a little bit of it, but they had used half a tube of glue just to put the two Fuselights halves together.
Oh dear.
So I've managed to separate it. Just for something different to do for a night, just for a little while to see how I get on with it.
There were Hayfords flew
because I'm
in
waiting
and
for the glue to get. Right.
There were Hayfords flew in and out of Alder
Right.
before the war.
I mean, how anyone ever survived on these things, because the pilot's cockpit was open, the gunners' cockpits were open. There was an under gunner who had this little thing here, who had a little. It was like a pill box. Yeah, and you stood up in it with your gun machine gun pointing out. So it must have been absolutely frozen going anywhere in it. But unfortunately, whoever put together, they used the glue on the glazing as well on it, and so I'm having to sort of try and either sand off the glazing that's there, maybe try and replace it, or drill out the portholes on the side, which are filled as well. Which are these things? There's not many. There's only the two at the bottom there, and the top one I might just try and polish out a bit. But it's just something different to do for an hour. Something to take your mind off the woes of the world. How's Kathy since?
She's still sore. Still wet.
No more additional falls, I hope.
No. She's managed to stay upright most of the time.
Very good. Oh.
Your Hayford there with all the tube glue. It's a bit like the bad old days when you started out in modelling.
Yes.
Everything was stuck with the same glue.
Yes. It used to be, well, funny, I've got quite a few of those Airfix kits that come with the paint and the glue in them. And for some reason, a lot of them have Heller glue, the French glue. But it's those little small micro tubes, and if you squeeze it at all, you get about, it's just...
The thing just empties on you.
Yes, you can't stop it coming out. No, awful. Oh, it's since I got that to me, extra thin, amazing stuff. Just makes such a difference to do everything. So what are you doing tonight then? Just listening, or are you building anything?
Listening and tinkering away at the Typhoon here.
Quite. Let's be any butts to hand to show us what you've done.
Been working on the seat here, getting a bit of a leather look to the back cushion.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice one.
It's a nice. I mean, well, when you finish it, obviously the size of the thing, it's enormous. The actual aircraft, and it's finished as well. But
it's hang on.
That's the one to the 24th Typhoon, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's the one. Yeah.
It's a nice the way they've done it, but yeah, it's got the full cockpit.
Mm-hmm.
I love all the framing and all that. That's great. I love all the framing and stuff.
Airfix has come on so much, Keith. They just improved beyond all recognition. Unfortunately, sorry. Go ahead, Ron.
The only slight drawback with the kit is that they had to use such a high pressure to get the plastic to conform to all the detail, that it's left parts of it with quite a bit of flash that needs cleaning up. I think in this here, just about every part needed a seam line scraped down or flash removed before it would go together. But once you do all that, it falls together. It just clicks together.
Yeah, it's just I don't know who's doing their design work while it's still in the UK, or if they farmed that out somewhere else, but they've definitely improved big time.
Oh yeah.
Philip Flory posted a thing about the new 148 scale Spitfire, and he just raved about it. Just it was totally different. But do you build aircraft at all, Keith, or are you purely?
I have built aircraft, but I haven't had any for a while. I got this just as because it was such a good price at the local hobby store.
Oh, that's Well, I hope it was a very good price because I know what that costs in the UK.
Yeah, it was way under $100. So
Oh,
you know, in
that's
Australia,
that's
these
that's
things were like $150, $180,
yeah.
and but this was way under $100, and I thought, oh heck, I'll get it, you know, because I've seen so many reviews.
Yeah, very very nice kit. Yeah. I mean,
Including
I have a 1/48 scale version of the same thing, but a lot cheaper than that.
yeah.
But it is a Tamiya kit.
Well, this was pretty cheap, so I was as soon as I saw it, I thought, well, I have to get it. I just have to get it. So,
The Australian dollar is about $2 to the pound, I think. Does that sound right or not? Is that?
yeah, just under, but getting pretty
Yeah,
close
that's
to it.
excellent. Yeah. So about 50 quid for that. That's about 120, 130 pounds in the UK, I think, that Tamiya kit.
Yeah, to get this one out of the store was
And again,
about 150, 160 in the store
yeah,
dollars. So
still cheaper than here.
anywhere near that.
It's nice,
We just
nice wet.
of them and was going to make all of them, and obviously didn't get around to doing it and decided to sell one.
Yeah, it's a nice.
Awesome.
If you build it with the weathered paint finish, but it's a difficult one to do. So many variations on the color blue, I suppose. But
yeah, well, I thought I'd chip the inside of it up. I'd do the cockpit and chip the cockpit up and stuff like that. So just use the hairspray technique.
yeah,
Chip up the outside as well. So.
I was at that last night myself with that the machine gun tripod on the Soldier there. It was all hairspray technique, but I used underpaint to give the effect, and I didn't realise they actually have two different rusts. One rust is a sort of a metallic rust, whereas the other rust is much more of a rust, if that makes any sense. But the metallic rust's got a sort of a sheen to it. It doesn't really work quite as I'd hoped. But I hadn't realised when I left it the Vallejo. I thought it was rust, just rust. I didn't realise they had more than one variation on it.
I would have thought rust was
You know,
just
you can
rust
do a lot of
as well.
rust in. Sorry,
Well,
Randall.
I would have thought rust was just rust as well. I wouldn't have thought there was like
See.
rust with a metallic sheen to it or anything like that.
So there's two different. Sorry, that's going to come up
Oh
again.
yeah.
So they're both, they're both called rust, but they're two different paints.
There you go.
How's it going, everyone?
Can't complain. Nobody listens.
I hear you, man. Actually, I don't, right?
What are we up to?
I am working on the Tamiya P47.
Hmm. Which one?
The Thunderbolt? No.
Yeah, it's the bubble top.
Right.
What scale?
148.
Big chunky airplane.
Yes, it is.
I remember reading it. I remember reading somewhere that whenever you wanted to take evasive action in a P-47, you undid the straps and ran around the cockpit.
Oh, very good.
Certainly did.
Why did they make it? Why was it so big? Just because engine size and whatever, or?
Yeah, it was built around the. It was so big because it was built around the, not so much the engine, but the supercharger.
Right. And the propeller's a crazy size too, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, 13 feet, I believe.
Was that the aircraft?
Aye.
I'm watching a few documentaries on some of the World War II aircraft, and I'm not sure whether that was the aircraft that the pilot realised that he couldn't outmaneuver what he was his enemy, so he just basically did a head-on and relied on the armour. It was a really heavily armoured aircraft, and the enemy couldn't shoot him down, and he just, went straight for him and and shot them down. I'm not sure Thunderbolt whether that was.
Yeah, I don't know if that was it. I know there's a story about there was a Thunderbird that was wounded, and a Focke-Wulf came up behind him and thought it was an easy kill, and the pilot basically couldn't do anything. So the Focke-Wulf just came up behind him and just started, just lighting him up. And the P-47 just kept taking the punishment until the Focke-Wulf's ammo ran out, and he was still.
Can't believe it.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, a lot of the squadrons that flew it and late in the war suffered. There were some squadrons that suffered over 100% casualties. Between them and the the Second Technical Air Force from the RAF doing all the ground attack missions. They took a beating from front.
Was it? It was used in Korea as well, or am I wrong? Did it not continue away after the war, the Thunderbolt?
I think it was used by some third world countries, like in Latin America, but I don't believe it was used in the Korean War. I knew the P-51, which was redesignated the F-51, was used.
It was in the Korean War, yeah. Nice aircraft.
Between the P-47 and the Hawker Typhoon, those are my favorite planes from World War II.
Well, that's what, I don't know if you saw, Randall's just building the 1/24 scale one at the minute, the Airfix one.
Sweet.
1/24 scale?
Yeah, the Airfix.
Yep.
That's the one,
I got that one too. Hopefully this year I can start on it.
And you can say Airfix without it being a bad word.
Yeah. At least the past couple of years you can.
Yeah, oh yeah, big time, big improvements. Although they still have all their old catalogs, so.
Yeah. You just gotta know which one is the new two and which one is the old.
Yeah, be very careful.
As a popular TV program over here used to say, here's one I made earlier.
Is that? That's not the one. That's 130. Is that a 132nd?
148 scale.
148. It's that camera of yours. It makes everything look bigger.
Yeah.
It's just my cameras. It just makes everything look huge.
Which one is that one? Is that the Hasegawa or the Monograph?
Hasegawa, the car door.
Nice.
Sort of the early type, as it were.
Yeah. And I love hearing the stories about the engine, you know what I mean? Well, it just blowing up out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. The scourge of the Wehrmacht in Normandy.
Yeah.
I'm just reading the book about D-Day at the minute. So it's a typhoon here, typhoon there, typhoon everywhere.
Yeah.
And the Luftwaffe were nowhere. Yes. So.
Yeah, there was a saying that the Germans had a saying in Normandy that if the airplane had camouflage, it was British. If it was silver, it was American. And if you couldn't see it at all, it was Luftwaffe.
I don't know. They made a complete mess of it, but
yeah.
And I watched The Longest Day about 3-4 weeks ago again, and it's interesting to see what parts of the story they used and what parts they didn't. You know, sort of, and their version of it, which was quite different from the real thing in places. Oh yeah. Have you seen Fury yet, Randall?
No, I haven't yet. No.
Oh, brilliant! You should go. I'm not saying it's accurate, but it's a very, very good movie.
Yeah, it is. It is. You know,
We saw it on an IMAX screen here, and it was just constant, just unbelievable. The fights, the battle sequences.
Yeah,
There's one bit where they're walking up a street or driving up a street, and they stop, and this Frenchman is, the elderly Frenchman, and he gets shot by a sniper, and his head just does a pineapple. Oh, it's just awful. So it's quite graphic in places.
Lovely.
I really enjoyed the movie.
I must get it on Blu-ray.
With this day and age, I don't even buy DVDs anymore because everything you can buy either off of Amazon or iTunes.
It's still I still like a Blu-ray in a box on a shelf. Then you can pick the part you want to see instantly. I know, you can download everything and watch them that way, but it's still something nice about the extras disc and things like that. That's just me. I'm old school.
Yeah. I'm not.
I like it because I got a ton
Blu-ray, DVD.
of DVDs, so my kids got their hands in them, or they were looking for stuff, and it's all over the place, and they never put them back.
I think my two kids were too scared of me. That's not fair. I taught them from an early age to look after the stuff. So, and my daughter's not so much that way, but my son's almost as bad as I am about things being pristine and looked after. OCD. Oh, and how long? It'll not be that long, as you said before. Everything will be downloaded. There'll be no more discs. So, I don't know. Good and bad. I see that they've just launched.
Download now.
Oh, you can get. Our internet connection's fast enough. You can watch everything that way. You can download them, but I just like a disc. Just like something on the shelf. It's like the old days of records. Yep. When you had a vinyl record, you could sit and read the sleeve while you listen to the music, and then they were just to the CD, and that was smaller to read. And then there's nothing now. You've nothing to read. You've nothing to look at. So.
Yeah.
I see a new magazine launched here this week, Randall, if you saw it, 3D printing magazine.
Nope, haven't seen that one yet.
It was in Easton's yesterday, I think it was. It's interesting. They're obviously, they see that as a next development, that they think there's enough of a market to bring out a magazine for it.
Well, it's definitely getting big,
The last one was
You'll not so much buy time to download and print up the parts or.
Yeah, but then you have to decide: do you print it built or unbuilt?
Yeah. Probably pay more for the part.
And then you'll buy a Spitfire and it'll include every variation from 1 up to 22 or whatever.
Yeah.
No.
Well, actually, at the parts that they have for the Falcon, the Anglo-Steel Falcon.
Yep.
So there's a 3D shop called Shipways, and they've actually done a pretty good job of just taking the parts which are already good and making them better.
Yeah. I know Randy Cooper's doing a whole set of stuff for it as well, for putting that landing gear and so on, but that's for the Hasbro one, but not the Agostini. But
yeah. Well, that Hasbro one is awesome too. I mean, they have it here in the States for. You can buy it at Walmart for $44.
I have 3 of them behind me.
Yeah.
They're out this.
Ian buys them in job lots.
And they are.
That's it.
You weren't on Jack's thing the other day. Randall, Heath finally got a hold of one. He was so pleased. He probably, I got one.
Right. Heath or Jack?
Heath got one.
Was that Heath or Jack?
Oh, Heath, that was Heath. Jack and Jamie
Alright.
were chatting away about. I think Jack's
Uh-huh.
selling Jamie all his kits now, transatlantic. So, and they were on about Ken Skiffington. The fact that Ken's away now until November,
Right.
whatever job it is he has. He's away in Alberta working until. But did you see he did the kit, or he did the Death Star, or not a Death Star trench for Jamie. It took him 3 days to build it, and he's posted it off to him. So
Right.
he's going to get a shock when he gets the customs charges for that one. But Ken's amazing. He just everything's scratch built. He buys his plastic sheets in 8 foot by 4 foot. So
Wow.
So
you don't know him.
You can get your plastic sheeting over there fairly cheap, can't you? Like the stuff that they use to make for sale signs and things like that.
Hmm.
There must be an equivalent here, Brantl, somewhere in the UK.
Mm.
I bought a few bits from I can't think, Model Base, I think it's called, and it's very reasonable. It was there were 5 sheets of A4 for £6 delivered for the 2 mil one, the 2 mil thickness. So that was for that for adding on the stuff that's missing from the ship kit.
Mm.
Okay.
How are you getting? Or is that?
I haven't touched it since I say I'm doing this tonight just for something to make me relax for a while. It's been a stressful couple of weeks, so and I was waiting for the glue to set on the figure because he was glued on the supporting straps for the rifle earlier on. So I want that to set before I touch it again, and then I'll finish him off with some parts of it I'm going to do with a matte coat. His scarf around his neck's too shiny, doesn't look right. And I may or may not install the cigarette in his mouth. I don't know. Working for the health service, maybe I shouldn't. In principle, I shouldn't shove anyone smoking. But and he looks okay without it. So we'll see.
Yeah, stick it in. It was the Times. Everybody smoked that back then.
I probably will. I'm just worried about making it look convincing, rather than a white stick stuck in his mouth.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm trying to remove the pilot from the seat. He must use a pilot onto the seat. No, I just want to try and paint them a little bit if I can, but I can't when it's in situ. I saw a whole discussion online today about the colour of RAF cockpits. What was the correct green? And people went back and forth about it was this version, it was that version, it was the other version. And then this guy said, I have a Spitfire door. I know it's this colour because I've taken one. He put a picture of a Spitfire door that he has. So, all very subjective.
Yeah.
I just go with whatever is the closest colour to it, and when you weather the crap out of it, nobody's going to notice whether it's the actual or the original colour.
But it's typical of the sort of conversations you see.
Exactly. I mean, you had the same thing with the P-47 where people were at first using the typical U.S. interior green, and it turns out it was like a bronze green, and then it was bell green, and in the end it was like, what you want.
Oh yeah.
But then, who says every aircraft was painted the same colour?
Nope.
I know they were done on a production line, but perhaps it was Monday paint that didn't have quite as much,
That's
whatever.
it. They weren't painted the same colour. I mean, everybody assumed the inside of, say, a B-17 was U.S. interior green, but you had everything from a really dark green in places to aluminium lacquer and others.
And yellow chrome.
When it comes to the RAF colours, if I'm painting something big enough that needs it, Alfred's Vauxhall Reed Green comes pretty close.
Oh dear. I know it's. Oh, that's a pilot's finally removed. So what are the issues with the P47, if any? The kit?
Oh, it's a beautiful kit. I mean, it goes down. Oh, it goes together beautiful.
So
So,
to me, you
go
know,
ahead. Yeah.
where can you go wrong with a Tamiya kit?
Yeah.
Well, I had a strange one rant with Craig. Craig needed the nacelle from the JJ Prize. He had lost
Uh-huh.
one of the nacelles, the clear part.
Yep.
And he asked me would I give him the one I had, and I said, fine, I'll order another one up from Revell, Germany, which, no problem, I ordered it. But it arrived on Friday, really well. I mean, where's the box? Really over the top box, for the part. This is the box that the part came in. Crazy size of box. But
Crazy.
the strange thing was, what I had never noticed was there was actually one of the clear sprues was missing out of my kit completely, but I never checked it to see if it was all there. And when the replacement parts came, they just don't send you the one part; they send you the full sprue. So there were two clear sprues in the box. I couldn't understand why are there two clear sprues. When I checked my own, then I noticed then there was a whole clear sprue that was missing. So lucky enough, I did what I did, because I would have maybe gone to build it next year and found that the part was missing. But
This is the Into Darkness one,
yes,
the JJ Prize.
Yep, that one. So it just shows you probably know I don't like opening the kits, but you probably shouldn't check it. All the parts are there when you get them. But Revell are pretty good. Revell are excellent about supplying replacement parts. Some of the other companies are a nightmare. They do it for nothing, but I think Airfix charge. I think they do.
Yeah. So, Tamiya charges too.
Right. Well, I can understand. I mean, obviously it's costing them. And
It's coming from Japan, you know.
Is it only Airfix charge?
I thought I read it somewhere. I suppose it depends on the parts that you want. It's like a long list of most of the parts in the kit. Hold on here a minute. Something strange about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're
But it's the fact they supply the full. Go ahead.
well, I was going to say if you're looking like for about two, if there's three sprues, and you're looking for two of them, it might be a little bit much.
Get slightly suspicious, yes. Oh.
But I remember back in the day there were some unscrupulous modelers, not me, I hasten to add, used to do that. They would send off for, this part's missing. But a week or two, they'd send off, this part's missing. They finish up, they got a full kit.
Oh dear. I can well believe it. It's unfortunate that there are people like that in the world, but right. Should I drill out the windows or should I try and mask them?
Well, I've ordered a plotter, and
For
that's going to be this week. So
masks or
yeah, for masks. So it's a plotter, cutter.
yeah. Oh yeah, I know what you mean. How big?
It's just a standard 12-inch.
Which is
yeah,
enough. Yeah. It's the choice of masking material is a critical one. I know. I have stuff for the NX01 Enterprise that Lou Dalmasso did originally, but Lou has told me not to use it because it's the problem is it will lift the paint. It's such a
well,
strange.
I mean, with his yellow masks as well. I've got a whole bunch of Lou's yellow masks, and I mean they're good. Don't get me wrong, but you have to put a small section down, spray that small section, and get it off really quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, if you leave it on there for any period of time, I don't know what it does. I had with the Liberator, I left it overnight, and came back the next day, and the residue was just incredible, and it was removing. I had clear coated and everything. I'm talking lacquer clear coat, nice resin clear coat on it, and it was removing that and the paint underneath. I have no idea what he uses, but if you use it correctly, then they're fine. You just put them on and spray and get them off really quickly.
Yeah.
Then they're all okay. But generally, what I use is this stuff. Like I do 2D stuff as well. Like I've done cars and things like that. And I find that this brisket film.
Brisket film, yep.
It's really low tack, and it's beautiful. Goes on, comes off. You can do it several times, and it's.
Is it? Randall, have you ever done your own decals? Have you ever tried to do them from scratch? In the sense of painting them, not say roundels or German cross.
Small scale stuff. There was a book there that recently. It was. We'll say recently. It's about 3 years ago now, actually.
Well, that's recently. That's
the de Havilland Sea Vixen that Airfix did, the 1/48 scale one.
Which I have here, yeah.
I wanted to do it. I was entering it into the competition for the Ulster Aviation Society, and so I wanted to do something local. And although what do you call them? Did tackles for ones that were in the Naval Air Base at Sydenham in Belfast.
Yeah.
They put them in 1/72 scale, but nobody did them in 1/48. So I just popped the things into a printer and got them printed up, enlarged by 33.3, and got them printed up that way. But unfortunately, they came out rather faded. So I applied the decals and then just hand painted in the details that I needed.
And used those as a sort of a template, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, interesting. The kind of thing that plotter, Keith, could be used for doing. I assume this is for doing spacecraft that you want the plots for, or is it for anything and everything?
Anything and everything.
Right. Yeah. I think the biggest issue that Lou always talks about, it takes him a long time to sort of work out if something's curved or it's not flat. That's where they get the difficulties working out the three-dimensionality of the stuff. I'd say either cut it, reduce it down into little small sections. But again, that's another time-consuming thing. But and you may, I suppose, there probably are stuff. There are things online already available. You just use those as your guide.
Well, I'm lucky.
If there are aircraft plans or something, loads of Starship plans.
Yep. Well, I'm lucky with the Defiant. Starship Modeler has by what's his name, Pendragon. He made up all these painting masks.
Yeah.
And literally all you do, it's just a JPEG. You just download it and you can sort of print it off or cut it out manually. Or what I'm going to do is run it through the plotter and get the masks, because I'm getting sort of more orders for things, and it just takes too long, and it's not really as accurate as what a plotter is, obviously. And it's like, well, I might as well. I mean, they're a few $100s, but I thought I might as well invest in a plotter. That way, I don't have to wait for masking sets to arrive if they're available. I just thought I'd do that. I'm making up a set of masks for my Liberator, because the Liberator has those stripes down the engine. I'm making a set of masks up for that for mine, and I'm going to send a set off to Jamie, because he's got one. Jamie Spencer, yes? Shiner, sorry.
Oh, Jamie Shiner, yeah. Well, we know Jamie, right? Okay, that's. I assumed it was the same Jamie when you said Jamie. We know him well. Oh, he's a wild man. We would say here he's a wild man, which is sort of means sort of a character. Or I have to be careful. Times I'll break into Northern Ireland, which is the way we speak over here, and then the Australians and the Americans are going, huh? It's just the way we talk.
Yep. Well, there's a holiday sort of area, and we have a lot of people from other countries go to this holiday area, and when we're talking, you know, in our typical Australian accent and, you know, all of our mannerisms and euphemisms and whatnot else, they've got no idea what we're saying. It's just, can I have an English translation, please?
It's when you get carried away. It's usually or the evils of drink. So
yeah. One of their tricks was to anybody who hadn't tried it, and generally because you guys have got Marmite, unfortunately the Americans got done for it. So every time the American arrived, it was almost like, you've got to have Vegemite on toast. You know, give them some Vegemite on toast, and my God, the reactions you'd get.
No, that's no.
This stuff is vile.
It is, yes, but it's healthy. It's good for you. It puts hairs on you.
Just in Australia, where I don't know, every household has just about got Vegemite, and just about everybody eats it. So you're sort of subjected from birth, really.
I know it's one of those classic things from.
You get inured to it.
Oh, no, thank you. Would be nowhere near my choice of food to eat. We have our own foibles.
Oh, I just love Vegemite. It's I don't know.
I've yet to try that delicatessen.
Well, yeah, it's. I'd highly recommend, if you're going to try it, I would try a very small amount, an extremely small amount. Yeah.
It was originally sold as a health food, wasn't it? I think it was a. Wasn't that a World War II thing? No, some kind of it's good for you sort of thing, but you know.
It's yeah. Actually, it's funny. I was on a hangout the other day, and Jay Barron actually said to me, you know, it's. He said, Keith, I'm the only American that likes Vegemite. Oh my God, you're unusual.
Well, you can't argue that Jay's one of a kind, so.
He is, yeah.
I was just trying to think, Liam, is there anything that we have that's specific to Northern Ireland that other people would find strange?
Yellow Man.
Yellow Man, yeah.
Yellow Man, that's...
What the hell's that?
You would call it, what do you call it? Honeycomb.
All right, yep.
Honeycomb, yeah.
Think honeycomb, but something that's, you know, like absolutely rock hard.
Yes, and it's all made by hand and then they sell it then on it's a especially where Randall is, Port Stewart. It's more of a seaside thing. It's something you buy when you go to the seaside.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, now you remind me of Dulce as well.
Dulce, do you know what Dulce is, Keith? I can give it away now. Dulce, D-U-L-S-E. It's basically a seaweed. My father used to eat the stuff by the bucket. Really loved it. Very, very good for iodine, apparently. So.
Yeah, but incredibly salty.
Yes. Anyone know how to open a mascot bottle? It's defeated me. Press down and turn. Yes, I'm doing that.
I watched a movie called what is it? My Cousin Vinny, and they're in Southern America, and they were talking about this food called grits.
Yeah, grits.
And it's like I have no idea what grits is, so I always wanted to ask what grits was, because that was that was one of the sticking points, because he asked this guy, you know, do you have instant grits? And he says, no respecting Southerner has instant grits. I make it myself. And he says, well, it's very nice and I love it, but you know, it takes you about half an hour, you know, 20 minutes to make it. So, and he wins the case from that. Well, one of the things he wins the case on. It's like, well, what is grits?
Did you ever find out?
No, I never found out.
No, it's just corn. It's like
Grits are like oats.
You know, some people call it like cream of wheat or something like that. There's it's something like porridge.
Okay.
But it's like a chunkier type. So it's huge in the southern states. You know, not so much where I'm at. You know, so I'm in Chicago, and you know, grits aren't a big thing there. Or you know,
So it's made from corn.
yeah, you know what? I'm pretty sure it's made of corn. It's just basically, you know, like you cook it, it expands, and then you can add whatever you want to it. You know what I mean? Some people, you know, they make the grits and then they'll add cheese to it and use that as a base, almost like a you know, pilaf, and you know, it's like you can put regular meat or seafood on top. Or some people have it for breakfast, where they just make it and then you know they add jam to it, like jelly or fruit.
Yep.
Mix it up and eat it like that.
Okay.
Each to their own.
Yeah.
Oh no, I think I'd have to. I think I'd have to try it. You know, it's just, I don't know. I mean, it's.
I mean, if you make
different
it, it's very bland. You know, I mean, there's really no distinct taste to it. But when you add things to it, then that's when it becomes good or bad. You know, like I've had some where they put cheddar cheese on it, and then they put some Creole seasoning in it, and then they'll serve it with like grilled shrimp on top, or that's pretty good.
Yes, well, I will be going over to the States at some stage, so I'm sure that'll be, you know, when I'm in the southern states, that'll be something that I'll make sure that I order some form of grits just to give it a go.
Strike it off the bucket list.
Yes, that's right.
Oh dear, I know. This isn't your full-time occupation, is it, Keith?
No, I'm a nurse.
Ah, well, I wasn't sure. Very good, right? I wasn't sure what. It's just some people come on here and you wonder, you know, they're always modelling, and you think, are they doing it for a living, or is it just a big hobby? So.
I do commissions for people and stuff like that, so I get orders in for you know, starships and figures and stuff like that. So I suppose I do paint them up, but it's not something that you would make a. I mean, maybe if you charge a lot of money for it, maybe you could make a living out of it. But it's not something that I'll make an awful lot of money off of. I mean, a figure will probably take me, you know, 2-3 weeks to paint up.
Yeah.
So, you know, and when you charge like, you know, $300 or $400 for a figure, I mean, you look at you wouldn't make much money from it.
Yeah.
But I'm who was it? Jack was saying, you know, oh, you're a professional, and it's like, yeah, that's why they look so good or something. It's like, well, thanks for the compliment, but I'm far from a professional. You know, like I've never been to art school. I've never, you know, it's just this was just more a hobby than anything else. You know,
it's practice. A lot of, I think. I mean, I don't think anyone would deny you improve. Well, you hope you would improve over time.
Yeah.
I mean, I've only been back at this for about 2 years. Well, I think it's a little bit better than the last one, but it's just so much to learn still.
yeah.
So, and then if
I've been painting figures for a fair while, and mainly miniatures, and you're all the time learning stuff. With that, like you never sort of stop. You always, and also it's your own personal goals as well. Like I paint up something, and I don't know what you guys are like, but there's a stage I have to get where I have to sort of call it finished, call it done, because I'm never happy with it. I sort of can get up to 80% happy with it. That's about it. And I go, no, got to leave it alone.
Yeah, it's always good to be your own worst critic. So you'll try and do better next time, and then it's when some people sing your praises or say you've done a great job on something, and you think, well, that wasn't that good, because you are your own worst critic. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
There are people who.
With this figure that I'm doing at the moment with the Green Goblin, I mean, it's because it's a recast. It's not detailed. I've seen the Horizon kit, the original Horizon kit, and that's really well detailed. Where this has got the detail there, but there's a lot that's actually soft, so you can tell it's a recast.
Yeah.
So you're not getting the detail that you would if you bought the original kit. So there's only so much I'll actually, and it's my own kit, I suppose, but it's only so much work I'll put into it because you're fighting against I suppose a bad kit. It's not bad, but
I think that's one of the reasons why I'm not building as much 1/72nd scale aircraft as well, because when you do a 1/48th or a 1/32nd, it's a massive difference. There's just so much more of the real aircraft there, and that's sort of why I'm not doing as many of the 1/72nd. I've got quite a few of them too. The kids bought me, and
I've been watching a lot of them. And I've been watching this guy called out of Scotland making models again.
Oh yeah, he's Gary.
And he's doing this 44th stuff and scratch building motors and everything for it. It's like the guy's mad.
He's and it's bad enough 1/72nd scale, but it's 1/44th scale. He's just amazing, the detail he puts into the builds, and then he'll buy some really crappy Eastern European kit that looks awful, and then he puts so much detail. He does quite a few mills for, I think, a Scale Aircraft Modelling magazine. And he does stuff for them. It's just, and I always like the fact he always starts off with he's either got a little drink of whiskey or the latest beer that he's trying, and he just sits there with the shed door open, listening out for aircraft flying past. He hasn't been doing as much recently because I think he's got a job that's more night shifts and so on now, so he hasn't got as much modelling time. But it's
I know night shift is like you just sit around, when you're not on nights, when during the day, when you wake, you just sit around with this black cloud over your head.
Oh, that's one. I work for the health service here in Northern Ireland, but I'm 9 to 5. I don't do overtime or nighttime. Thank God. I couldn't stick it. That would be long since worn out. I'm a normal nocturnal sleeping person. I can't stay up late at all. Yeah. Did you see that Gary, making models again? If you go back through his videos, you see he did one of an X-wing.
He did a really good job.
Yeah. I like the way he did the base, because all he did was he just had a photograph of the Death Star flying past. Really nice modeler. So, you've never watched Chris and Alex modeling their videos?
Oh yeah.
Oh, the fun is between the two of them. Alex is constantly bickering with Chris and back and forth. It's just classic. So it is brilliant. They seem to have quietened down this last couple of weeks. I think just life's caught up with them a little bit.
I think they're doing other things as well. It's summertime. I suppose it's coming around. They're doing RC stuff, I think. So.
They fly models as well, yeah. So I think they'd left it for a long time. But I mean, he was churning out videos. It was like 3 a day. Sometimes it was just crazy.
He was really pumping them out. I was like, wow.
He built the Stap droid as well from Star Wars, and he did such a good. I didn't realize how large the kit was. I ended up getting one off Gumtree here in the UK then, for a very low price. So.
He was asking. The funny thing was, he was asking about, how to light it up. And I've done a fair amount of kits, and I went, oh yeah, well, probably standard lighting and stuff like that. And he went, oh, I'm going Arduino.
Yeah.
And I was actually sort of saying, well, not putting him off, but saying, well, that's a fairly big leap. And then I saw what he did, and I was amazed by it. And I decided to buy some Arduinos. And the language is dead easy. It's only C, and it's just so easy to do. Like I've been this Defiant. I've done the lighting on that, and that's with an Arduino, and it's like a $3 Arduino, and it's so easy to do. So it's just oh man, why did I wait so long?
Yeah. I bought one way back when I got back into modeling just to try it. I mean, at that stage they were crazy money because they hadn't become so mass produced, but I just never got time to do it. I should get around to it and try again. Because I know you can get, as you say, the little small boards, the little boards you program first, and then you take them out of the programmer and put them in there to $3. Yeah. What about the Enterprise, Ron? Was it sort of just off to one side then?
What I've got is these. Now that's a mini, which is like just over an inch, I suppose, in length. And all I do is hook up one of these. This is the actual programming board, and you just hook it up. So you just
the limiting factor seemed to be the number of LEDs you can light.
You've cracked up there, Liam. Sorry.
I beg your pardon. I was saying the only limiting factor was the number of LEDs you can light with them.
No, you can light up as many as you like, really.
Picking up here.
You can light up as many as you like. The only, say if you got a flasher that you're trying to do, say 5 or 6 navigation lights. Well, you just program one of the outputs to do the flashing rate that you want, and then instead of trying to use like 6 on the board, you just have that one output, and then you split that up to your 6 LEDs.